All right, so starting my diary off with back day. Just got back from New Orleans yesterday. Um, I've been thinking about how to progress to the next level with my, I guess, bodybuilding is what we call it for now. Um, but quick background on what I've been doing for the better part of the last 11 years. I started, I guess, I started training in the gym at 18, senior year of high school, and kept that fairly consistently, except for maybe half year, junior year of college. So over that time, I've focused on, majority of that time went towards powerlifting from about, I guess, 20 to 25, 26. And then after I moved up from Orlando, Florida to DC, I transitioned to more of kind of just training for the fun of it with running more and just working out, trying to figure out what works for me. And then when I moved out of DC to Silver Spring, Maryland, I started bodybuilding more. Doing more bodybuilding focused workouts. Currently, I am about. I'll post my body weight and whatnot at the end, but for the sake of this being the first diary entry, journal entry, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, thought I should give this little intro, and then we'll see where this goes. I think if it would be cool to do a bodybuilding show down the line, and I think that's why I'm also taking this step, because I want to have document the process of that. I've noticed some pretty good growth over this last year since I started focusing more on bodybuilding, and I like seeing that, but I don't have a more visual form of that outside of the videos that I record on my phone, which I end up deleting. So this makes it a lot easier to track. If you find any of this helpful or whatever, if I'm not. This isn't to give advice to anybody. This is all just me doing my thing, and maybe if you're getting into the bodybuilding space or just wanting to work out, might have a tip or two there. But full disclosure, I'm not trained or anything. I've had coaching and all that, but for the most part, this is just stuff I've learned while over the last 10, 11 years, consistently practicing it for the most part. Now, before we dive in, I just wanted to say that most of my workouts, I start out with a 10-minute bike ride and then do 10 minutes of stretching, dynamic stretches, to warm my joints up, and then I do about 15 minutes of jump rope to get. I just like it. It's fun. It's something I learned halfway through last year, and I like doing it. Gets me ready for my main workouts. So now we're going to jump into my back workout. I'm going to talk through what I'm doing. I'm going to talk through what I'm focusing on, what the intent is for every single movement, and then, yeah, that'll be it. Thanks, guys. All right, so we're starting off with some warm-ups on the pull-up machine. I added a little bit of weight, so about 10 pounds on the belt. Every rep throughout most of my motions, I'm going to be taking slow. I'm really trying to squeeze it out. When you're trying to build muscle, the best way is to maintain activation on that muscle while moving. Or I don't know if that's the best way to say it, but if you really want to tear those fibers, squeeze it at the starting point and then keep pulling down. And that's what you'll see me do over and over again throughout these motions. of course, I did a pretty good warm up on the bike and stretching and then the jump rope. So my body's ready for these movements. I would never do these things without doing that stuff first. I always recommend a good warm up. So that's the end of the first set. I usually do a few sets of pull-ups. I think I'm only going to show 2 sets. I don't want to bore you guys with all these reps. Uh, but same thing, rinse and repeat. Um, Taking it nice and slow up, and then trying to squeeze it out while releasing it slowly. I'll do a few reps. I think at max I'm doing like 6 reps. That last couple reps are always a pretty good fight. I'm not trying to do too many reps because again, this is a warm up. So, and then oh yeah, the machine wasn't like letting the arm that you see there fall off, so I had to get that out of there. But I also like to do a little bit of assisted pull-ups as well because that helps me squeeze the lats a little more when I'm on the way up. Concentric, eccentric. I don't remember the words. I'll have to look into all that, you know, um, fun stuff. But yeah, a pretty decent warm up. Since I just got back from New Orleans, my body's it takes a little bit more time for me to get my mind muscle connection together. If I'm being honest, since I just got back after like 5 days of not really doing much in the gym, it took me a good like 70% of the workout to get the activation going, which it's okay. But anywho, now after I finish the warm ups, moving on to lat pull downs. I put it at 160 on the rack. It doesn't have to be too heavy, but put it at 160 because I already did the warm ups on the pull down, right? Or on the pull ups. So I don't need to go through the warm up set reps for the lat pull downs. 160 is a decent weight, not too heavy, not too light either. I feel the execution, and again, here we go where I'm squeezing the weight as much as possible, or squeezing the muscle as much as possible while going through the motion. I'm not trying to go for like 20, 30 reps. You never really need that much. I'm going for, I think, like 6 to 8 reps at the heavy weight and then dropping it to a lower weight and continuing that squeeze while maintaining that squeeze, doing a few more to get that last little burnout, last little stretch on the muscle group. For this workout, it's heavy on pull downs. I like to split my back workouts between pull downs and rows because you're working on width versus mass, I guess. Another word I'll have to really look up. But for the sake of this being a first diary entry, I'm not too bent out of shape about words right now. Just trying to get this out. It's a little late. Anywho, so you'll notice that I dropped the weights a little bit here. And I'm continuing that, like I said earlier, where I'm squeezing it as much as possible while doing a few more reps, trying to get a little more stretch in the muscle to tear that, to feel it a little bit. Of course, these last few reps, I like to push them out as much as possible. I'm at pretty high exhaustion at that point. So whatever movement I can get, I'll take. I'll drop it a little more. I think I dropped to like 85 pounds here. And I'm going to rep it out a little more. But same thing, at 85 pounds, I'm going to squeeze it as much as possible and pull. Pull into right under my chest, I think is where I'm trying to go. But I think with today, the activation just wasn't there. I don't know what it was. I think it's just because I've been away for a long time, like I said, but it is what it is. Lat's got a decent pump from pull downs, but we're going to move over to single arm pull downs. I like this variation. I tried doing another machine earlier for single arm, but I wasn't really feeling it too much. So what I do here is I first set myself at an angle at a relatively heavy weight, and I pull into my lat as much as possible. I squeeze it as much as possible, and while I'm coming out, I'm still maintaining that squeeze. So I use a little more momentum on the initial part of the rep, but then on the way out, you're squeezing it. The whole point is squeezing. Like, if you're not squeezing it, you're not working that muscle. And if you want to build muscle mass, you want to squeeze the shit out of it. Excuse my French. But after I do, I think I was doing like 16 reps here. I'm only doing 2 sets of this. After the pull-ups and then after lat pull-downs, which pull-ups, I think I did like 3 sets. Lat pull-downs, I did about, I think 4 sets. 3 of them with, what's the word? Drop sets. So moving over to lat pull-downs, I'm only going to do 2 sets. You don't really need more than 10 sets per workout for that body group or for that muscle group to truly get that activation going, right? You don't want to overwork your muscles, and you want the work that you put in should be efficient, right? If you do too much but you're not really focused on it, you're not going to get a lot out of it. Just like anything else in life, I guess. But as you see, I try to angle myself out a little more so I get a little more stretch on that heavy weight, and it helps with the momentum when I'm coming down into the arm. I feel like I stretch a little more on the left side, just from powerlifting days. I used to grip the bar with overhand and underhand grip on my right and left arm, so I kind of fell there. But you get the point. In order to fix that muscle imbalance, I try to maintain the same count of reps on the right side or on the left side that I do on the right side, because my right side is slightly weaker in my lat pull downs. But sometimes I just be forgetting what number I'm at, and I just rep it as much as possible. But yeah, so 2 sets of this, and then I think we're going to transition to abs. But like I said, after I get the heavyweight in, I scoot back in a little more and I squeeze for a few more reps. And here we go, abs. For abs, I keep it simple. Another similar pull down method, except I keep it close to my shoulders. So I'll bring the rope close to my shoulders. Or no, I keep it extended. Yeah, there you go. I keep it close to my shoulder, and I keep it at a slight like 90-degree angle on the elbows. I try to arch my back inward so I keep my abs activated, and I pull and I squeeze the abs. Same as any other muscle group, the more you squeeze a muscle, the more you're working it. I come out a little more here because I feel like I can hit that lower part of my abdomen a little better. But if I'm being honest, I've just regularly started doing abs recently. I stopped doing them for a while after having consistently hit them for a few months, but now I'm back in the swing of things with them. Overall, not a bad workout. Got a decent pump closer to the end. I think just because I was away for like 5 months or 5 days from the gym, the body recovered fairly well, but the lack of sleep and not being in my own bed sucks, man. Anyway, on to the posing. My favorite part. What I look forward to every day. So before I take my shirt off, show off all that greatness, I like to practice the pose and really feel the muscle before I take it off. So a little lat spread, little double bicep or rear double bicep. I don't know what the names are. I like these transitions. I try to follow them with the music that I'm playing, but you get the point. I'm loving how my lats are coming out here. With you see it imprinted in the shirt there, and you'll see them come out a little more. I'll talk through the what's it called, the pose while I'm doing it. But we're going to start with a front lat spread. Eventually, at some point here, I'll figure it out. There we go. Yeah. All right. Not looking too bad. Sitting at about 220 pounds, 5 days off, coming right back in, right where we stopped. Abs are coming in kind of decently. Of course, there's some more weight to shed. So, and the lats are coming in pretty well. Lat spread's not too bad. Back's looking dense. I'm liking. I've seen a lot of growth in my traps. I've been hitting them a lot more. And as you can see here, they get a decent pump from doing the pull downs. I really like this transition. Uh, but this spread right here, getting that density on the outer lats and seeing it ripple down onto the bottom is my favorite part. I love that growth. All right, well, that's it for the day. I think that's the workout. I went for a nice couple-mile walk at the end, and yeah, that's all we got for tonight, guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow.